Good evening, and welcome to the 42nd edition of the LIVRESQ Empower Your Teaching webinar. I always have to check for the number. My name is Raluca, and I'll be your host tonight. The way this works is that we usually gather here twice a month on Thursdays, and we introduce different LIVRESQ features that might prove useful to you, whether you're a teacher or an education professional that works with LIVRESQ. We also record these meetings, so we're here on Zoom at the moment. We're also live on Facebook, and a recording of this will be later on posted on YouTube, which is where the majority of our audience is. So if you have any questions, if you're live in either of the two platforms, please don't hesitate to ask me. And if you have any questions, but you're watching a recording of this, leave your question in the comments and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now we have a very exciting topic for tonight. We've recently covered this in our Romanian webinars as well, and that's related to how to make interactive videos or how to make videos interactive in LIVRESQ. The fact that we can add video questions, and we've delved into this before. We've talked about in-video questions. I've mentioned then that there are ways to add other resources as well. And I'd like to show you a way where we can add in which we can add other resources and how we can use this in a real sort of not necessarily 100% real, it's a mock use case scenario, but I'm sure that according to the topic of your courses, you'll be able to find use for it. So I'll share my screen and I'll show you what my proposal is for tonight, and then I'll show you how to do it. Typically, our webinars in English tend to last for around 20 minutes, so we'll cover this quite fast. If you have any questions or if you need to have details regarding any of our features, please don't hesitate to comment at any point or interrupt me if you're here on Zoom. Okay. So let's see, I'm in a project and I have already created a video using AI. And this is something we can do quite easily in LIVRESQ. Just give me 1 second to arrange everything. Good. So this is what my project looks like. I already have one video that I've created using artificial intelligence. I've created it in LIVRESQ. And I've also added some resources that pop up at certain points. Now, I'd like to start by showing you what the video looks like together with the resources that are displayed with the video. And then we'll see exactly how we can recreate this. So I'll just play it now.
Hi, I'm Anna, and today we're going to discover the difference between domestic animals and wild animals. Did you know that not all animals live the same way? Some live alongside people, while others prefer the freedom of nature. Domestic animals are those that live with us, humans. We feed them, take care of them, and they keep us company. Let's look at a few pictures. Click the arrows.
Now she's announced us. So this is the reason why I've decided to create a video using artificial intelligence is because as opposed to a video that you bring from another platform, we have this avatar that we can write the text for, and they'll even announce the resources that are popping up. So for this particular instance, I've decided to go with a gallery. It's very easy to do. It's a way to show images inside the video, but also show them interactively because the student, the learner, now needs to click the side arrows to navigate through the galleries. We could have also added text here, so we could have added the name for each animal. And then once we're done with the gallery, we have the continue button and the video will resume.
Wild animals live in nature, where they find their own food and don't depend on people. Want to see some examples? Click the arrows.
Right. So now we have a gallery of pictures of wild animals. Again, we could have added text if we needed to. We'll navigate through this gallery. Then we have the continue button.
Now, let's see how much you've learned. Answer the following questions.
Now we have a few questions. So we can select the wild animal. We also have a drag and drop in which we have to drag and drop the picture in the correct space. And then when we're done with the quiz, we can click on continue.
Now you know how to tell the difference between domestic and wild animals. See you next time with more fun facts from the animal world.
Okay, so this is how it works. This was a very quick, very short demonstration. You can, of course, do this for a more lengthy video, and you can do this for a video that you bring from outside LIVRESQ. Of course, bearing in mind that this will work differently if you haven't edited that video yourself. You maybe will need to provide information and instructions for the interactive resources that you add. So I'll exit view mode. And I have another version of this video that's without all of the resources, just so that we can see from the beginning how we add these resources. We call them keyframes to the video. So I've entered the video editing mode. First of all, the way I added this video was to generate it using artificial intelligence. Another way to add, we actually had three other ways to add videos to LIVRESQ. We can either embed them from YouTube by inputting the address here. We can upload a video from our own computer. We can select one of the stock videos that is available. We have two search engines from which you can search for stock videos. You can do that. I've just searched for a picture of a cow, and that's why the keyword up here is cow. It works in the same way as the stock photos search engines. And then we also have the possibility to generate a video using AI, and this is only for paid accounts. The way we do this is by selecting an avatar, character, when we have a few characters to choose from. We can also add a background, which is what I've done here. I've just added a few leaves for it's a generally just a picture that works as a background. You can have the background transparent as well, but generally this is a background that can be uploaded from your computer, or it can be a stock photo that you search for. Now, the next step after I've selected my character and I've selected my background is to input my text. And this text can be written somewhere else and can be inputted here. You can generate it using AI in LIVRESQ, but in a text resource separately. We've gone through this before, but I can redo that demonstration about generating text. What I've done is take that text, adapt it to how I want to use my resources, and then I just pasted it here. Now, according to the language, generally this will be the language of the project. My project was in English from the start, so it's selected, English was the default. There are multiple accents to choose from, especially for English, but there are multiple accents to choose from for other international languages as well. And then you, of course, have the possibility to choose one of the very many voices that are available. And once you select the voice, once you've inputted the text, the next step is to generate. Now, besides this, you can see that I have some blue text here. And this signals either breaks in the in the lip sync, either breaks in the text actually, where the avatar, my character, takes a little break, or different gestures. You might have noticed when we previewed the video that she does some little gestures at some points. She showcases things by moving her hands like this. She says okay at one point, and at the very end she waves. You can insert those gestures between or at any point during the text, except for the very beginning or the very end, because the characters need to have a little bit of time to perform that gesture. All you need to do is click on a certain area of the text where you want that gesture to be inserted, maybe at the end of this sentence, for instance. And we have this menu here that's called Insert Gesture. And you can select one of the gestures that she can do. And according to the character you select, there are different gestures available, so you can browse through them. Generally, they tend to be in these lines. So they're showing something, they're saying okay, they're giving you the thumbs up, they're waving, maybe they're smiling. So I will zoom on my screen. Here you go. If I zoom in more than this, thank you for the comment, you might not be able to see all the menus because it's quite zoomed in, but hopefully you can see it better now. Okay, so these are the gestures. that are available for this particular character. And then now, because I've zoomed in, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit more so you can see the text a little bit better. This is all of my text, and in the same way, at certain points in my text, I can also insert breaks. And once I've inserted all the breaks and all of the gestures together with my text, I can click on generate. This will take a while, which is the reason why I've done this beforehand, so that we don't spend too much time waiting for the platform to generate the video. And once we generate the video, we can click on use. This button will activate. I've already generated, the video is already there. So the use button for me is grayed out. It's not available, but I can normally after I generate, it will be available and I'll be able to click it. And then the video is automatically inserted in the way you've just seen it. And it looks and it's lip synced. I'll just play it a little bit again.
Hi, I'm Anna, and
She says her name and it's lip synced to the text that I've just introduced. One advantage is that if you need to use this video somewhere else, you can also download it by clicking the title of the file here. So if you need it for something else, or maybe you need to download it to make more advanced edits to the video itself, you can 100% do this by clicking on the download button here. But the topic today is inserting different interactive resources, which we call keyframes. And to do this, we need to go here on the right-hand side, once I'm in the video editing menu, to this option here that's called keyframes. If we click on add keyframe, the little plus button here, we'll have the opportunity to add our first keyframe, our first interactive resource. I think it's for 26. I think the original video, that was a second 26. So we have hour, minute, second, and millisecond. We can really tweak exactly the moment where we want that resource to appear. And then once I've selected the moment I want my resource or my keyframe to appear in the video, you'll notice that there's this little water droplet icon here that appears at that exact point. And the next step that I need to do is select the resource that I want to add. To do this, I'll click on choose, and the place this takes me to is the organizer, where I either have this resource created, like I do here, because I've just done this, or we can create that resource. Most likely, you will only have your projects here. So we're in our resources, we're in the cloud where LIVRESQ stores everything, we're at the place where everything we've ever created in LIVRESQ is saved. And here, just so that we don't have to exit this menu and go back, we can also have this plus button up here that's called Create Resource. So it's like a page with a little corner, a plus next to it, that's called Create Resource. We click on this. I know I need a gallery. I don't need a new project. I don't need a new section. I need a new resource. If we click on resource, we have the possibility to add all of the resources available in LIVRESQ. So you can add an image, an image gallery, which is what we're going to do, an audio, a video. Video wouldn't make a lot of sense to add a video inside a video, a quiz, which is the most popular use for keyframes, a matrix, which is the crossword puzzle, and alongside all the other interactive apps as well. What I'm going to do is select gallery. And what this button just did is create a new gallery. It automatically named it, but it's not important. This is just like a placeholder. I just need it so that I have this resource and I'm able to insert it. It's there. It's in my resources. Because I've just created it, the platform has selected it for me. I can see that it's selected because I have this light blue color around it. If I want to unselect it, I'll just click somewhere outside. Select it again by using a single click. And then what I need to do is to actually insert it. And I will do this by clicking on the insert button down here. And right now it's going to take a second or two. And we'll notice that we have the edit button that pops up here. This means that I can edit the resource that I've just added, edit the content or the app, whatever you want to call it, that I've just added, my gallery. And if I click on edit, I am now editing that gallery. It's a gallery of images. So if we scroll down, we'll notice that we have 1, 2, 3 images. We can delete any of these images. So we're left with 2 at the moment, or we can add more images if we need more than 3, or if we need more than 2. And changing these images works in the same way. As for the image resource, I'll just click on change image. I can either upload an image from my computer or I can select a stock photo. I think we're for domestic animals still, so I'm just going to insert the picture of a cow. For the second picture, I'll just search for a picture of a dog, maybe. It's not going to be exactly the same as the initial version, but similar. And let's also go with a picture of a cat. Easy to search, easy to select. When you create galleries in LIVRESQ, and we've covered this before, we generally try to work with pictures of very, very similar size. There's a little bit of a difference here, but generally try to find pictures that are of similar resolution, because the gallery will adapt according to the biggest picture. So if there's a big difference, or if some of the pictures are in portrait mode and others are in landscape mode, the gallery might be displayed weirdly. So tend to stick with the same resolution and the same orientation for the images inside a gallery. What I've done now is add a gallery of images to my video. And because I've generated the video as well, and I've written the text for the avatar, I'll just skip now a little bit because we've already watched
Hi,
this.
I'm Anna, and they keep us company. Let's look at a few pictures. Click the arrows.
So now she's told us to click on the arrows. We have this resource pop up. We have the gallery that we've just added. We'll click on the arrows. We'll look at the pictures, and then we can click on continue.
Wild animals live in nature.
And the video resumes, and she talks about wild animals, and then we can add a gallery of pictures with of wild animals. This was easy to do. One more option that I'd like to talk about is the skip button. So if you don't want your students to be able to skip the resource without interacting with it, you can uncheck this. Because in the version that we've just seen, I'll mute the video when we preview it next, just so that we don't listen again. You'll notice that now I have no skip button down here. If I have the skip button activated,
Keep us company.
then my
Let's look at a
students,
few
I forgot to mute it, then my students will have the option to skip the gallery without looking through it. Once this button is not skipped, if this option is unchecked, then I will need to look through all of the pictures to be able to move on. And we do this with any other resource that we're trying to add. So if you want to add a quiz, again, this is the most popular use of keyframes. What you do is go back to the video, we double click it, we can add another keyframe, you don't have to only have one. Click on add item. Again, we select the interval, the exact moment where we want it to pop up. I think for the quiz it was around 34 seconds. I may be wrong, we'll see in a second. Of course, you need to look at the video first and decide the time, actually find out where exactly you want to place that resource. And again, we click on choose. I have a quiz already created. If I didn't have any quizzes here, then I could have clicked on create a resource, gone to resource and select whatever resource I needed. If I click on quiz, I have another quiz here. It's selected. I can see that because it's in blue here. I'll click on insert. Takes a second or two, and I'll have the edit button just like above. I can click on edit and I can edit my quiz and add the information that I want to my quiz, and then I can fill in the quiz with all the information that I want. I didn't edit the quiz at all, so it will just pop up. I'll mute it again. First, we have that I tried to skip, but it's not allowing me to skip. And then when she says the thing about the quiz, which we can't hear because I've muted her, The quiz pops up with whatever content we've added to the quiz. The student can answer the question and can be one question or two questions, and then they can move on in the video. For instance, in the original video that I've made earlier, we have 3 keyframes. Now we know how to look for these things. So I'm inside my video. I've generated the video using AI like you've seen. I've added that text. I've added the breaks where I needed to add breaks so that there's a little bit of a pause and I have time to insert that the resource. And I've added 1, 2, 3 keyframes. My first 2 galleries, pictures of domestic animals, wild animals as well. And then I have the quiz, which features 2 questions. One of them is a multiple choice, the other is a drag and drop. This is what the quiz looks like in view mode inside the quiz editing mode. So I have the drag and drop with images. There are a lot of things you can do with quizzes. We have webinars dedicated to quizzes alone, and we'll definitely have more webinars dedicated to quizzes, especially since we have some new features. But generally, this is how it works. And again, you can add any resource that you want. You can add links to things. The only resource that is featured here and cannot be added to a video is the text. So you cannot have a simple text box. You have text in other resources if you need that text box. So if you can, for instance, add an accordion and give the student some text to read. Or you can add a tab and give the student some text to read, but you cannot add just the text to pop up in a video. Any other resources? Any of these resources that are featured here can be added, however. And one disclaimer, once I add a keyframe from my resources, once I've chosen a resource, I'm not editing the resource that I have in my organizer, I'm editing a copy of this. So what LIVRESQ does, if I click on insert here, it will create a copy of gallery number 5 and it will feature it here. It even says so. So this is the first gallery that we've added is a copy of gallery number 5. The second quiz that we've added is a copy of quiz number 8. So we're working on copies. If I go back to my organizer and I look at my resources, they're still empty. Nothing has changed inside those resources. If there are any questions regarding this, please let me know, whether you're watching us on Facebook or on Zoom. Again, if you're watching a recording of this, please leave your comments and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. In the meantime, I just wanted to pinpoint a change that is very, very recent. Regarding the organizer, we have a tab here that is always present. This has been here for about a week and a half, I think. This allows us to go back to the main page with all the panels, with all the menus here. Its main use is the possibility to go to resources and open additional tabs containing other resources or other projects. So I can have multiple tabs open in the same instance in LIVRESQ, and I can navigate through them. If I have 2 projects, 3 projects, I can open them again. And of course, to access all these areas, the main panel, the resources panel, shared content, and so on, I have this separate tab that allows me to return here. Before you could do this, but it was a little bit more complicated. You didn't see how what projects you had open, and the way we used to do this is by clicking on the LIVRESQ logo. Now we have a special button called the organizer, and we can navigate through all of these menus. All right, so I'll take it that there are no questions. I can wait. Yes, you can write equations in LIVRESQ. In the text resource mainly, but I'll clarify this in a second because I just said that we can't add text to video. So we have a text box. This is the simplest way to add text. You can add it by copy pasting text from other places, or you can write the text here. And we have a formula editor that looks like this. If you need to, or if you're used to using LaTeX, you can. This activates the LaTeX option and you can write the formulas in code. If you have the formulas written in code already, I'll just copy paste this one and click on cancel. Then there is a quick way to insert LaTeX. So if I type $, my formula code in LaTeX, $, again, the platform will feature it as a formula. Or again, I can use the editor and I can change that formula in whatever way I need. Just open the editor, I can select any type of um, symbols, any type of formulas that I need. It is based on LaTeX, yes. Sometimes copy paste from some systems works quite well. It depends really. Math type, some versions work. So if you need to copy paste the formulas from one document into LIVRESQ, that can sometimes work very well, but other times we've had complaints from math teachers, especially that copy paste is not 100% foolproof. That because we're based on LaTeX. Generally, yes, but it depends on what on what type of formula you're copying and what version of characters you've used, because there are some versions of math type that work okay, and there are some versions of math type that Libras gets a little bit confused by. So it really, really depends. It's a trial and error type of thing. But you can ask, for instance, any type of an artificial intelligence to convert it to LaTeX, and then this is really done much, much easier than it used to be done. And you can use artificial intelligence inside LIVRESQ by selecting a text box, clicking AI enhancer, and you can ask it questions either related to a text that is already there, or you can ask it questions from the start, like starting a chat with ChatGPT or any other AI that you already know. Now, the same text editing menu is present for almost all resources that feature text. For instance, if I want to add an accordion, which is this type of resource where I click on a title and then it reveals the content hidden there. If I go into the edit mode, wherever I have the option to add text, I have the same text editing menu and the formula editor as well. The same code for LaTeX $, formula $, works. And this applies to accordions, this applies to quizzes as well. Wherever I have the possibility to add text inside a quiz, whether it's for the requirement, regardless of the type of quiz, or whether it's for the options, for instance, I have the same menu and I can add formula. It works. It's the same text editor. And that's how it can be featured, for instance, in a video, just to keep in line with our topic. Again, anywhere we can add text with a few exceptions, for instance, for the crossword puzzle, for the matrix. Of course, this is not going to feature the same editor. You can't add I mean, it might work. I haven't tried, but you don't have the same access to the text editor menu. But this is an exception. Almost all other resources that feature text have access to that text editing menu. I hope thank you for the thumbs up. It means that I've managed to answer your questions. Thank you for the question. All right. So if there are no further questions, no, that's fine. It was the end anyway. I welcome questions, so it's you're more than welcome. We keep this shorter than the Romanian webinar, and it's also not as crowded as with questions, so it's easier to get through all of them. Thank you very much for watching and for joining me tonight. We'll probably take a little bit of a break in August. We'll only have one meeting towards the end of August, but then we'll be back twice a month on Thursdays, 6:30 p.m. Central European Time. And ask questions, write us emails, and we'll feature and we'll talk about our updates. We'll talk about different features, hopefully clarifying and staying close to you at the same time. Thank you so much once again, and I will see you again in August.